So in this video I have the edited audio from Janie McKenzie on Drunk Turkey. So he actually called her and they had a conversation along the lines of her thoughts on them bringing the dogs in. Now, like I said, this is an edited version. That's what Mouse thinks about that. If you wanted to go over and listen to the original audio on the Drunk Turkey channel, he does spend quite a bit of time talking about geofencing, talking about how they can figure out who was in the area based on cell towers and everything, based on phones blipping in and out of the area, which was quite interesting. But I thought, well, for the purpose of this video, I just wanted to hear what Janie had to say. In terms of investigative stuff, that's not the purpose of this video. So if you were interested in listening to that, then the link for his live stream will be in the description section below. I will say I disagree with some of his opinions, so I don't normally recommend his channel just simply because we see things differently. But it is quite interesting listening to him talking about geofencing and stuff. One point that he did make, which I wasn't aware of, is that there is a GPS chip in people's phones, which allows pinpoint precision in terms of location. Which, I mean, that makes sense. I had a friend lost his phone out of his pocket one day when he was on his way to work because he rides a motorbike, and he was actually able to come to work, log on to an Apple device, find his phone, and go back and find it lying on the side of the highway. So I get that. And this is going back 10 years. So, things have progressed since then. But he did mention how basically, in terms of Daniel and Malaya's phone, once their phones were downloaded, they would have also had that full GPS data from their phones, which is far more accurate than like when your phone is connected to a satellite. Meaning, in other words, your phone is recording GPS the entire time. So if they had their phones with them, even if they were out of range, the location would have been recorded. So that was interesting to hear. Anyway, so this audio from Janie, it's about 16 minutes long. Again, take it as you will. There's one section where she's claiming that there was nothing of Malaya's at the house to be collected by RCMP. Because she says partway through this, she claims that the RCMP turned up 2 weeks ago, collected all Lily and Jack's belongings, but there was nothing of Malaya's at the house, and she thinks that Malaya must have taken everything to Paddy's on the Wednesday before all this happened. So it seems like her and Daniel have now shifted to Dingbat's narrative and are trying to push that narrative, which we know is complete utter BS. I'm actually surprised that Malaya or someone in her family hasn't come out yet and spoken out against this constant attack on her and her family by Daniel's family. I mean, at the end of the day, she's got nothing to gain from coming out and speaking publicly because people will just jump on what she says. But when you hear Janie, Dingbat, and now Daniel all trying to throw Malaya under the bus continuously, every time they open their mouths, it seems, I would be getting really PO'd about this point in time. Although that said, I don't think these clowns have realised that they're actually making themselves look more guilty, because while they're here for weeks on end trying online to establish that Malaya is guilty. Now, if that was the case, then they would have gone to the RCMP. They would have told them everything they know, and we would be right now hearing that Malaya had been arrested. But we're not hearing that. In fact, what we are hearing is that the RCMP is going in with dogs sometime in the near future. According to that Hidden in the Fog channel, who claims to have been talking to Daniel behind the scenes but doesn't have any actual audio of that, she claims that Daniel has said that he wasn't even told that the dogs were being called in. So, my question is, why would people who are claiming to be completely innocent, who know nothing at all, why would they be working so hard to publicly blame the one person who's not able to come out and stand up for themselves, the one person who is choosing to remain silent? It's not a good look. Now, yes, I will have some more analysis videos coming out in the next couple of days. As most of you know, I've been unwell this week, so I've been kind of taking it easy, and I've, haven't fully bounced back yet, so hence the easier videos for me. A little bit less concentration, a little bit less effort. I should probably also say, before we jump into this audio, it's about time that I said thank you again to those people who've been doing the Buy Me a Coffee, people who've been doing the super thanks. Yes, to the person who did the Buy Me a Coffee and said, this is for diet biscuits for Amira, my dog. I'll be buying her a harness that fits her better than the one that currently does, with the money that you put in my Buy Me a Coffee account. So thank you to that person, and thank you to all the other people who've been doing the Buy Me a Coffee. It is greatly appreciated. It is that support that helps me keep my channel going strong. So on that note, thank you. Let's just jump into this audio.
Daniel Martel has been asking RCMP for months to call in cadaver dogs to search for his 2 missing stepchildren. Now the time has come.
It's going to be really hard work now that there's so much vegetation in the woods, but I'm pretty happy that they're going to be able to do it.
But Martel isn't expecting it will bring answers.
So are you thinking that the dogs will go in there and won't find anything?
I know for 100% they won't find anything. I mean, that's probably why they waited this long to do it. It's just to keep the public informed, I guess, that they're hard at work.
Okay, just to clear up a few things, the investigators, RCMP, anybody to do with law enforcement is welcome to come on this property and do what they have to do.
Have they contacted you yet?
No, they haven't, and they haven't contacted Daniel neither. But I also told them that they didn't need my permission to come on here. They could come anytime they wanted to come. Nothing to hide. Yeah. And another thing I wanted to state too is Sonny says that for people to go out and search the property out around here. Well, I'm just going to mention something. I already discussed that with the investigators, and the investigators said it would be in our best interest not to let anybody on the property, because I could get in a lot of trouble. As Kent said, if somebody falls and breaks their leg or, gets hurt in any way, I am liable for them. Yes, we have people driving by here. Actually, I have signs up that say no trespassing in private drive, but people still have the balls, to stop in our driveway. And when we walk out to the end of the driveway to see what they want, they put their car in reverse and they take off up the road. They turn up at the Lansdowne Station Road, come back again and just drive by. And we also have drones that go here all night. Yeah. I don't know why. If they like to watch a 60-year-old woman and a 34-year-old boy sleep, that's their choice. Another thing I'd like to clear up what Kent is saying. Kent has never been on this property. So nothing against you, Kent, but if you don't know what you're talking about, don't say nothing. My brothers and myself, like my family is originally from here. My brother Ron lives in the homestead, so I grew up here, and my brothers have grown up here. I have 5 brothers and 1 sister. They have growing up in this area. We know this area like the back of our hands. Now, as far as Ken is saying about sinking in bogs 10 feet deep, no, that's not true. There is no such things as the bogs around here. And as far as Steve Cliffs goes, as far as I know, and my brothers have searched this property, searched all around here. The only big cliff on this property is just up back of my house here, and it has been searched. I own 2.2 acres. No, mostly all the property that is out here is privately owned. The only place that is Scott Paper or owns back of my place here. I don't know how many acres, but there's another friend of the family that owned this property. The son of the fellow that owned this property before I bought it. He owns 100 acres up back. And another thing I wanted to mention is the trails that you were talking about. The only trail that would be a very access for the kids to go if they did wander it would be the road that's up the top of my place, up the top of the hill here, that goes through and goes up and goes out through the pipeline. All the other trails grew up with altars. Very difficult to walk through.
So the trail with the pipeline, is that the same pipeline where the footprints or the boot prints were found?
No, that is up the Lansdowne Road.
Oh,
so
okay.
if you leave my place, okay, come out of my driveway and turn right and go up the road and you pass the tracks, and then you go to your right again up the dirt road, the Lansdowne Road, and you go up there. The pipeline that their tracks were found on was up there on your left-hand side. The blanket was found just before the pipeline on a road that Scott Paper had put in. That is like a government thing that they go up there and they cut pulpwood and that. It's government owned. The only way you can get through there, if you go up to the top, the road up by the top of my hill, if you go up that road and you go up through the woods and you go down the pipeline, you can go down through that way, but you have to cross over the railroad tracks, a brook and then the railroad tracks. You can go up the Lansdowne Road and the pipeline. If you go up the Lansdowne Road from the 289 and you go up the Lansdowne Road and on your left is the pipeline, you can only walk through the pipeline. You can go up there with a 4-wheeler, but for a vehicle to get up there, no, you can't drive a vehicle on the pipeline.
But you can walk
4-wheeler,
there.
yes. You can walk up the pipeline, yes. Malaya just sent me a picture and I sent it to you. That's the only picture I've seen of that footprint. I don't know how far up there it was found or not. I have no clue. I'm going to tell you something right now. I've called 6 lawyers so far to try to get access to see my grandchildren, and everyone has turned me down because of this here investigation going on with Jack and Lily. No one will take my case because of all of this. No, Daniel has cooperated with the investigators through all of this. Same with myself. We have cooperated with them. I haven't seen them now, and I'm going to explain. The last time I have seen the investigators was 2 weeks ago when they came to pick up Jack and Lily's belongings. They haven't talked to me about the case at all. Since the polygraph test, they haven't talked to me at all about. They just told me when I took my polygraph test that it was inconclusive because of a heart problem I have. I asked if I could take it again, and they told me that it would be the same thing. So there was no reason for me to take another one because it's going to turn out the same way. As I said, with any information, I have not heard from them. As I was going to say, the last time I seen the investigators that were on this property was about 2 weeks ago when they came to pick up Jack and Lily's belongings that Malaya had requested, and we gave them that stuff for them to take to Malaya. And there was 6 bags of Jack and Lily's clothes that were turned over to the investigators. Nothing of Malaya's because there was nothing of Malaya's here. Yes, when she did laundry over Wednesday, the only thing we could figure out, Daniel and I, is when she did laundry Wednesday at her grandmother's.
Yeah.
She didn't return any of her belongings at all. It was Jack and Lily's and Daniel's clothes, and very few of Meadows. All I heard was Friday morning. After my brother had called me, I laid down and my dog started barking, and I could hear Jack and Lily outside talking and laughing. I did not hear no woman shush. So I'm just going to clear this up. That came from, I'm sorry, Darren, but that came from Darren and Belinda. And I've talked to Belinda, and I did not mention anything about a woman shush. Now, Belinda and I had a talk, and I told Belinda everything that happened that morning. And it's exactly the same thing that I have told in my interview and to the investigators. And I've been trying to continue to say what had happened, but you know what the internet is like. One point I like to put across. I had nothing to do with anything to do with Jack and Lily. And why would I not, if I knew where Jack and Lily were, why I would tell the investigators where I knew Jack and Lily were? Because do you think I like living this life? Do you think I like all these accusations and all these rumors going on? I do not like it. Nobody would like it. I really hope Jack and Lily are found. And when they are found, I hope they go to a good home. I really do. And in my heart, I believe Jack and Lily are still alive, and I will to this day that I die, till I die. But I did not have nothing to do with Jack and Lily's disappearance or unaliving those children.
How often was RCMP contacting you and Daniel?
They would come when this first all happened. They were here, I'd say maybe twice, 3 times a week. And then as things eventually got going, we'd hardly ever see them. I hardly ever seen them. Now, Daniel is in more contact with them than I am. No, he usually goes and sees them to see how things are going. But myself, I don't bother with them at all. If they have anything that they need to ask me, they can call me. I told them that already. Just if you want to know anything, just call me. I said, I got nothing to hide. As I said, we're cooperating with them to the fullest, and they're more than welcome here anytime, as I said. Daniel, he is cooperating 100% with the investigators. As you said, a little things get screwed up when things are asked, but you just got to remember, how many times have we been asked these same questions over and over and over again? And it doesn't seem to matter. We answer the questions, but still people don't listen. Like, as I'm going to mention, like the neighbor saying that he heard a 5-speed car. No. We did not hear no 5-speed car. About having a party that Thursday night. We had no party. I would never allow that on my property. Do you want to know the truth? Yeah. None of my friends ever come out here to visit me. And another thing too, in the last 2 years since Malay and Daniel have been living in my trailer, the only ones that ever came to visit on this property when they lived here was Cindy and Wade, and they only came about 5 times. Cindy and Wade never came to any of Jack and Lily's birthday parties. Patty and Hayden have been here because, Patty came first by herself, but since Patty got sick, Hayden has been driving her, and they came to Jack and Lily's birthday parties all the time. But as far as anybody else visiting, no, nobody's ever come here to visit Malaya since she's been here. It was 2 years in August since they moved in here. At first, really, she had, her situation with her grandmother, I don't know what happened there. But the thing is they called me on a Monday, and Daniel called me on a Monday and asked me if they could move into the trailer. And I said, yes. I said, when are you moving? And he said, we don't know yet. And the next thing I know, they were moving in on that Friday. So I had 4 days to find somewhere to live. I heard from a source that she was planning on leaving Daniel 2 weeks prior to before this happened. She was happy when she first came here because she had a place to live. They had a place to live rent-free. Rent-free, people. The only thing they had to do was pay the power bill. So, but after I asked them how long they were going to stay, and they said till after Meadow was born, the baby was born, and they said it was only temporary. 2 years later, they were still here. So if she didn't want to be here, she could have left anytime she wanted to. Nobody was holding her back. Well, she didn't have any problem leaving Patty's house, and Daniel lived there with them. She wouldn't have had any problem leaving here, and Daniel lived with her here.
As we go into October, how does the landscape change?
Just the leaves fall. The landscape doesn't change at all. The leaves just fall off the trees.
Can you see further?
No, not really. Because when we had that there, whenever we had that floor, I forget. I'm trying to The storm, it's been the same way. It hasn't changed any at all. And as I said, like when we used to take the kids for walks, Daniel and I, we used to take the grandchildren and for walks, and I'd end up carrying Jack through the woods because he wouldn't walk because it's that bad. Like, I mean, as I said, all the trails here are either blowing down or they're grew up. Like these trails haven't been used out here in years. So the only trail that's normally used is the old road up the top of the hill here to the pipeline is the only one that's used. It's the same pipeline, but it's cut in half. It's cut in half because of the Lansdowne Road. Like you can go up back of my house to the pipeline, you cross the railroad tracks, and then you cross the Lansdowne Road, and then you go back on the pipeline again. Well, the pipeline is all open. Like, I mean, it's an open space.
Right.
Like, I mean, they keep it trimmed.
To me,
That's quite a walk for two kids through the woods, and I'm a grown up, and it takes me quite a while to walk from here to my brother's house. As I said, I'm an adult, and it takes me quite a while to walk. Even if I went through the trail, it's going to take me quite a while to walk through a trail. It's 1.5 miles from my door to my brother's door. 1.5 miles.
see,
No, because Jack always stopped to look for bugs, even out here in the yard when the other kids wanted to play with him. He was too busy looking for bugs.
would he chase something?
He doesn't even bother with my cats. Just bugs. That's all he was interested in.
And what about
He would
flying
turn up
bugs?
he would watch them, but he would never, if he knew he couldn't catch them, he wouldn't chase them.
Okay.
He would just stand there and look and say, look, a bug, a bug. No, those kids, no. The only reason why we took off and looking in the woods, if we thought that they would be at their little cabins, that's the only reason why we took off in the woods. Because when she said they were missing 20 minutes, that's the automatic. You're automatically going to think, check the woods, check the woods. But when we checked, Daniel went in Malaya's vehicle and went up the old road and everything, right up to the pipeline and never seen them. And I met him at the top of the hill up here on the old road and asked him if he found them. And he said, no. After that, I searched around the place here. I went up to the old schoolhouse and the camp up there. And the neighbor up there owned 6 acres. And I walked up there and I came around back and that was 6 acres. And I walked around and did the whole circle and came right back down and came back down again. Wasn't looking at the time, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
As I said, like we have no phone reception out here at all. I can get phone reception up here at the Lansdowne Road up here at my mailbox, but anywhere else on this property, the only place you get reception going towards town is at the New Lyric Cemetery Road. Is where we get our next cell service signal. We have no cell service out here at all. That's why I have Wi-Fi calling. I don't know because I mean I lived out here for 26 years and never had no cell service, so I don't know. I mean before I got Starlink here, I had ExplorerNet and we couldn't get phone service. So if I wanted to make a phone call to somebody, I would have to get the best service to get around here would be the McLeod Road. So I'd have to drive, if I wanted to make a phone call, I'd have to get in my car and drive down the road to the McLeod Road and sit there and make my phone call. Up here at the mailboxes up at the Lansdowne Road, it's hit and miss with the cell service. Same with the Lyric Road.
But Malaya
Lyric
said that if you stand in a specific spot inside your house, you can hit service, right?
Once in a while, if you're lucky.
It's a very limited area.
I could tell you from the Lansdowne Road all the way to Brookfield, you have no cell service. From Lansdowne to Brookfield, you have no service out there.
And so,
not a bit of service.
But how far do you have to go down the road before you get service again?
To the McLeod. Well, you can get service if you're lucky at the Lyric where it goes up just beside Lansdowne Lake. If you're
How
lucky.
many kilometers is that from where you're out of school?
Geez, about 500 yards or so, just a jump, skip, and a hop.
I'm assuming that your place is either in a valley or in a peak.
Yes, it's in a hollow. Malaya went through this. Malaya went through when she made her phone calls. She went through the Wi-Fi. No, as I said, like I just got my phone through Starlink now, so I don't have to run up the road now to make a call.